I was a big fan of Nickelodeon. I loved SpongeBob as a kid. In fact, I was actually crying nonstop when I found out that Steven Hillenburg passed away. I mean, he was my childhood. So, in honor of him, I bought every SpongeBob DVD that was available. A couple days later, while I was out for a walk, I found a guy who was selling a lost SpongeBob episode DVD. I asked him how much it was, and he simply said that it was free. I took it and turned on my DVD player. Now, keep in mind, I was curious about this DVD. So I popped it in. First thing I see was the Nickelodeon fish floating around from God knows how long that ago was. I was really back in memory lane here, but then I noticed something. The fish's eyes were bloodshot. The fish itself was red. I didn't really care about it. I just kept watching. The menu screen was just stretched out. It was stretched out PNG of SpongeBob with a title called bootleg_sponge.mp4. I clicked on it. And the first thing I saw was the intro. It was fine. Nothing was wrong, really, until it went to the title card. The background was gray. The title of the episode was called Lies. And there was a pentagram with it. And during the title card, creepy music was playing. Anyway, the first thing that showed up was SpongeBob eating some Kelpo next to Gary. Looked like a normal episode so far. Well, Gary, I'm heading to work. See you later, Gare Bear. After SpongeBob left the house and off to work, he saw a fish. And it zoomed in on its detailed face. SpongeBob got some pills out of his pocket and ate them. There was blood coming out of his eyes, and his skin was decomposing with flies all around him. I was really scared at this point. SpongeBob screamed and ran as fast as he could to the Krusty Krab. When he walked in, there were people who were waiting in line for Krabby Patties. I then heard Mr. Krabs yell out, "SpongeBob!" The only thing off was that it wasn't the original voice actor. It sounded more like a decrepit old man. "The customers are in a frenzy!" SpongeBob ran into the kitchen without saying a word. He starts making Krabby Patties. It was just a loop, like the Flintstones of him flipping Krabby Patties. And this is where the whole episode just goes downhill. As the loop of SpongeBob flipping patties kept on going, a metal door shaking could be heard out of nowhere. Later on, screams could be heard. It sounded like a torture room. I started to shake. Then SpongeBob started melting until his rib cage started showing. The room got darker and the screams started to get louder. The full kitchen was set on fire, and eventually the audio stopped. SpongeBob stared at the viewer. He says, "People think I'm a good person. Lies, lies, lies." Then everything came back to normal. He called Mr. Krabs. When he came, he was confused. SpongeBob already knew how to make Krabby Patties. But then the craziest thing happens. SpongeBob grabbed Mr. Krabs' head and, using his bare hands, dislocates Mr. Krabs' bones. Skins him alive, dismembers him. He stretched his face and eye with his bare hands like Play-Doh. I threw up looking at his mutilated corpse. He was so mutilated that... Oh god, I won't even show the image. His entire body practically melted away with the exception of his teeth. Then he grabbed a pair of tweezers and began doing something. I literally saw him rip off Mr. Krabs' bloody jaw and gums. Those jaws. SpongeBob started laughing with blood all over his face. He went to Squidward. Squidward told him to bug off. SpongeBob says in a demonic voice, "You will face the wrath of SpongeBob. Prepare to die." He grabbed Squidward's chest and ripped it open. He ripped out his heart, and soon enough, Squidward fell onto the floor. Dead. While SpongeBob was looking at the realistic heart, he then began to squish it until it exploded. SpongeBob then began eating the remains of his heart. He then plucked his eyeballs out, ripped off his lips, and then tore open his mouth and jaws. It was pretty bad, but not nearly as bad as whatever the hell SpongeBob did to Mr. Krabs. I didn't have a bucket with me, so instead I threw up on the floor. I kept watching. I felt as though I had to. SpongeBob entered the gym. He saw Larry and gave him a protein milkshake. And as Larry drank it, he started throwing up blood. His pale body fell to the floor, covered in blood, and started seizing uncontrollably. SpongeBob was laughing uncontrollably since he put poisonous pills inside the drink. Next, he went to Sandy's tree dome. Sandy was working on a brand new invention that looked like a wood chipper. SpongeBob picked up a rock and threw it into the glass. The tree dome cracked a little until it broke. Sandy then died due to drowning. And when SpongeBob saw her floating dead body, he then said, "I just need one more kill." Cut to SpongeBob circling Patrick's house with a bat full of nails. Patrick was scared and was biting at his fingers, even though he didn't have any nails or fingers. SpongeBob opens the rock. Patrick screamed as it cuts to pitch black. It just printed a line of Japanese text. I didn't know what it meant, so I used Google Translate on my phone. It was Japanese that stated, "You are next." The scene then cuts to SpongeBob's house. It showed the inside of the house, which was all dirty and trashed. There was also a pentagram on the wall, and it was the same thing as what was on the title card. The next room had Gary in it, dead with his shell broken and eyes slit. The next room showed a bunch of dead bodies of the fish kids. SpongeBob was lying in bed with a knife in one hand and a sad face covered in blood. He asked, "Why, Bikini Bottom? Why?" He sighed and said, "I guess this might be the only way out." SpongeBob slit his wrist and wrote "lies" on it. He died shortly after that. The episode ended. I ended up having nausea, some suicidal thoughts here and there. But luckily I found a therapist to help me through it. I still like SpongeBob, but I will never look at him the same way again.